So I'm down here in the basement, working on yet another project. Oh God, I don't know how to go about doing this here. Well, we'll try to keep this short. So the floor had some cracks in it. This wall wasn't here. There was like a column holding up this beam across the ceiling here, or floor, and the post was, I don't know if you call it a lolly column. I don't think that's what it's called. I think it was just a jacking post. There obviously was no footer for that board, and it looks like it was kind of an afterthought. I don't know if that had anything to do with why the concrete was cracked, but the concrete floor has these awesome tiles that are put down with some sort of mastic that was probably done, I'm going to say, early 70s. Well, anyway, some of those tiles are popping off because it was cracked, and turns out those tiles are probably not the best thing to be inhaling, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So anyway, long story longer, I wanted to put down a flooring to cover up that old flooring that would keep that tile where it's at, but also be safe to be down in the basement with. So I used this floor, but before I put a floor down, I was like, well, let me see if I can show you what was up on these walls. And it was this brown paneling. Cool, right? I'm all about the brown paneling because I'm still paying on that brown paneling for at least another, I don't know, what's the mortgage, 15 years? For a while, okay? But that paneling was conveniently glued to the concrete wall, which it would have been okay, but they left no room for expansion based on humidity. That paneling then expanded and bowed off the wall because it was tight between the floor joists and the floor. So decided that if I'm gonna do it, I should pull that off. And this window here was also a glass block window. Boy, this video is gonna be really long. And long story, I took all the paneling off. I ripped out the false ceiling, which would be just like the ceiling out here. Took that out and put on this Pink Panther foam, I guess is what they call it. No, I don't know. What's it called? Expanded foam? I don't know. Well, regardless, it's a foam insulation that is tongue and groove. And then I used this special tongue and groove tape to keep the moisture on the wall, which I don't think there really is any. There is some sort of foundation wall sealer on the outside that I found. And this insulation is 3/4 inch thick, and it gives you an R value of something. I probably should know that. Had you asked me while I was doing this, I probably could tell you R4? Is that right? I don't know. Something like that. I don't know, whatever. I really didn't do it for the R factor. Anyway, and then I decided to stud it out. Pulled new wires from the opposite end of the basement, which is a pretty good haul from this side because we'd have to go all the way across here, and on the other side there's another room of that where you see those lantern cases, and then you'd have to go all the way where that door is, and then it goes another 20 feet to the clear opposite end. So this is like the farthest possible run of wire. So what I did was I wired up a bunch of outlets. That's all on just normal 15 wire, or what do you call it, 14 wire 15 amp. And then you see I got a yellow in there 20, because the idea then was, once I start putting this together, is we'll make this our exercise room. So the 20 amp is a dedicated circuit that'll be for the treadmill, because you're supposed to, according to the owner's manual. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. And so I ended up putting on this what they call Pine V-Groove car siding. I did that because, one, I did some drywall in my shed. That takes a really long time. It goes up fast, but the finish process takes forever. This, went up probably just as fast as what the drywall did. And I'm actually just putting 2 coats of a shellac, and you can kind of see how it shines. And it's supposed to keep the knots and everything from bleeding or whatever they call it, sapping. So there. So that's what it is. Now, the reason I'm making this video is like I said, I was going to put a false ceiling back in here, probably the same one that was in here because I kept all the tile and because I'm cheap. But the problem is there's no light down here. And to be honest with you, this light is great. It's a great fixture. It does not do a lot for lighting down here, and I have tried a couple different methods of trying to light this room. But I didn't want to put up the lights until I had the ceiling up, so I know where like the light shouldn't be. So finally today I just decided I'm going to go buy the recessed lighting, going to put it in. I got the wire hanging right there, and the wire right here, to start the first light, and we'll be good. Well, turns out that the light fixtures, the recessed can lights, are quite pricey at $8 a piece. Plus, then you need the what's the other part? Oh, here's that. This is what I'm using. It's just a clear shellac. I didn't want to put any amber color. What was I talking about? Yeah, so the can light thing. Yeah, so they're expensive. By the time you're done, it's like $16 a fixture because you need like a baffle or whatever they call it, plate. And I'm cheap. And I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm going to end up having to move them anyway. So I went the road of the 88-cent 4-inch plastic PVC box with the porcelain keyless fixture. And I have I shouldn't say never, haven't recently bought a incandescent bulb, but I've found that incandescent bulbs give out a lot of light. And at this very moment, I need to be working down here, and it's really hard to see without lights. I don't have a work light. I could buy one, but for what I have invested, I think these light bulbs are like $1.98 a piece. So I got 4 light bulbs here. So let's say that's $8. I got another $8 in this, so $16. So basically the price of one fixture, and that would be without a bulb. So what I'll do is wire up the 4. Figure out where I want to put them, and when and if I guess I put the light fixtures up, at least I'll have the wire run. I'll have to maybe leave a little extra wire for each fixture in case I need to move them, but yeah. So yeah, that's why this wall here, jumping back to this wall here, is a 2x6 wall. I don't know how much support this needs. I did jack. I put a floor jack down here and jacked on this beam a little bit. That doesn't sound right. I lifted this beam. That sounds a little better. Lifted this beam here and then put in these 2x6s to hold, and I think where these 3 are is where that jacking post was, or whatever you call that. And then I reused the paneling I took off these walls to make this wall that was never here. This wall, this was just open. That post was just there by itself. That window, which you really can't see, I replaced this window. I shouldn't say we replaced this window. My dad, though, helped me with the trim work around the window. But anyway, and then I reused the tile, cut everything down, made it fit, this and that. To get this paneling, though, to come out, boy, this video is all over the place. To get the paneling to come out with this, as you'll see, we got 1, 2, 3, and then they added this little furring strip on here. So 2x6 is only comes out to about here, I believe. There we go. Get the camera in the right place. Like that. So we were short a little bit, and I'm like, oh boy, that's going to be tough to come out, because I wanted it to come out with the front of this, and it wasn't going to. So the solution was I bought that, what is it, mold and mildew resistant or basement drywall. I put that on because that got me my 1/2 inch, which was awesome, and then put the paneling over top. The paneling I did cut, so if you'll see, like, whoa, there's a lot of space there. Yep, that's so I don't have the issue that we had when it was glued to the wall. And then once I do the floor down here, some sort of flooring over top of this flooring, I can put a baseboard on that. Yeah, so that turned out well, and that, believe it or not, drywall makes a really great surface to put that wall on. That paneling really lays flat, nice. Back to this. I'll just quickly try to wrap this video up here, and then I'll get some videos of me working on this project. Oh, we're at 10 minutes already. Okay. Anyway, so this wall here I want to do a little different. Actually, you know what? Let's just pause here, and I'll come back to this and ramble some more later.